Chibok community to receive farming equipment and other skills acquisition accessories worth 210 million naira.
Like now giving them the sustainable machines, teaching them how to do this farming, how to produce certain things.
Federal government reaffirms commitment to zero tolerance for gender-based violence.
Bringing innovations that will help to strengthen our democracy.
Federal government to enforce plea bargaining guidelines for federal prosecutors. In keeping to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's promise to support the transformation of the micro, small and medium-scale enterprises space in Nigeria, the Office of the Vice President, in collaboration with the Bank of Industry, is set to commence the disbursement of loans to MSMEs by January 2024. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and MSMEs, Office of the Vice President, Temitola Adekunle Johnson, the loans totaling about 75 billion naira will be given to small businesses across the country at an interest rate of 9%. The federal government and the bank will leverage existing platforms to provide the loans to small businesses targeting women and youths, collaborating with stakeholders across the public and private sectors to provide massive support for MSMEs, both in grants and loans. Management of a commercial bank has recently approved an upward review of loan scheme for MSMEs from 30 billion to 50 billion naira. The upward review, according to the bank, is to increase the number of beneficiaries of the bank's loan scheme and impact more livelihoods.
Skins of several cows were made to serve as ropes to be used in pulling down the rock.
Farming equipment and other skills acquisition accessories worth 210 million naira is what the federal government will be disbursing to indigenes of Chibok community with a view to revitalizing the economy of the area affected by insurgency. Momso Damian Dati reports that the Ministry of Women Affairs will be handling the project.
This continued.
Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, disclosed this when a delegation from Chibok community, led by its district head, Engineer Amadou Usman, paid her a courtesy visit in Abuja.
Started by opening an account, boarding them in the portal, and then other things will follow, like now giving them the sustainable machines, teaching them how to do this farming, how to produce certain things, how to ride the keke, to enable them take off the work immediately. When you empower a woman, you empower 20 people. So this is why it is very important that we focus on women, which is what the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emphasized on.
This program is going to help the family from top to bottom. And this program is for the people at the grassroots.
According to the minister, the funds were raised after due consultations with the management of the American University Yola to invest back 50% of the monies paid by the federal government as school fees for the kidnapped Chibok girls into assisting the affected families and entire community to improve their standard of living. Momso Damian Dati, NTA News.
The wonders of Christ's birth again shone bright in songs and other colorful renditions as the 2023 service of Night Lessons and Carols held at the banquet hall of the presidential villa. The State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports that members of Nigeria's first family led other Nigerians at the special carol.
Praise and thanksgiving in its due season at the 2023 service of Night Lessons and Carols, organized by Nigeria's First Family. It is the first by the administration of President Bola Tinubu, and members of the First Family, led by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu are in attendance, joined by 2 former leaders and their spouses, as well as traditional rulers and top government functionaries. It was an evening with all the trappings of Christmas carol, with songs and special renditions interspersed with Bible readings, all telling the wonderful story of the birth of God's special gift to the world, Jesus Christ.
Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 2, verse...
It was not a day for speeches, and so the First Lady was content to take the 8th Bible reading at the service, taken from the book of Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 12.
When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him.
With the theme, Emmanuel, our hope of glory, the service resonates with the keen desire of the current administration to address concerns and rekindle hope among Nigerians. This was also captured by CAN President, His Eminence Daniel Oko, in his homily.
For your hope and our hope is sure when we trust in him.
In the spirit of the season and in recognition of our support to the Christian community in the country, the First Lady was presented with a special Christmas card by the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN. In the State House, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, says research and innovation are essential to strengthening democracy in Nigeria. While hosting the management staff of the Nasarawa State University, Senator Barau says Nigeria has, since the return to democratic governance 24 years ago, recorded progress in several areas.
Really go into research about our democracy to bring in innovations that will help to strengthen our democracy, and not only confine yourself within the borders of Nigeria. I'm sure our neighbors will like to come in and study in universities.
The Vice Chancellor of Nasarawa State University said the visit is to seek collaboration with the National Assembly, as the university has now established institutes of legislative and democratic studies to encourage research and democracy and legislative practice.
Are going to provide knowledge to postgraduate students through part-time, through online models, to also acquire knowledge on legislative and democratic practice.
Former clerk to the National Assembly, Salisu Mai Kasua, has been appointed as a director of the institute. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the 2024 appropriation bill will be passed on Saturday, December 30th, 2023. At the resumption of plenary, the Speaker mandated all standing committees of the House to submit reports of budget defense to the Committee on Appropriation. National Assembly correspondent Mita Raitman reports.
The race to pass the 2024 budget in record time is on, with high hopes for the appropriation bill to become law on or before the new year.
Official laying and passage of the budget will be slated for Saturday, 30 December 2023. In between, all other activities like harmonization and compilation and processing of the bill will take place.
Following separate motions, the House mandated its Committee on Port and Harbors to investigate gaps in Nigeria's maritime sector, and also called on the Inspector General of Police to avoid further delay in effecting the promotion of qualified policemen.
The cost of exporting 100 tons of cargo in Nigeria is $35,000, compared to Ghana, $4,000.
To urge the Inspector General of Police to immediately implement the recommendation of the Police Service Commission in 2023 with respect to the promotion of the concerned men and officers of the Nigerian Police Force.
Also adopted were resolutions seeking protection of communities along the eastern borders from Cameroonian invaders.
There is a high-level threat and security concern in Opa community, Boki local government area. The House calls on the President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, to deploy military forces to Okwa community, ensuring the protection of Nigerian territorial integrity and the safety of its citizens.
An urgent need to intervene in incessant killing and kidnapping by bandits in harmful communities in Enugu East issues of Federal Constitution of Enugu State.
Meanwhile, the Chairman House Committee on Information has made a case for more budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Information and National Orientation to effectively fulfill its mandate.
2.59 billion naira, a very low budget, considering the role the media and information ministry are to play in this country.
He says zero allocation to some agencies in the ministry needs to be looked into by the executive arm of government. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikmen, NTA News.
Africa has for too long been suffocating under the grip of poverty and underdevelopment. This is a direct consequence of poor economic development and overdependence on importation, which has impoverished the continent while creating wealth for the developed countries. This undeniable fact was the general consensus at a gathering of professionally grounded men and women of proven track record of excellence drawn from different countries of the world who converged on Abuja for the inauguration of ceremony of the Board of Directors and presentation of Hendai Smart City Business Opportunities. The initiative is anchored on 4 cardinal principles: wealth creation, job creation, housing revolution, and improved human living.
Built in our smart city in Nigeria and also in our various smart cities across major countries in Africa. It is therefore safe to say that Hendai Investment Limited, through Hendai Smart City Business Opportunities, will be a ray of hope to eliminate the darkness of poverty and create wealth through economic development that will usher in lasting security in African continent.
Anything that will promote business activities in Nigeria will also promote industrialization. It will also promote growth and development in our country. But even when you come to Africa, Nigeria's population and what we have makes Nigeria that destination hub. So even when the foreigners come to Africa, the place to go is Nigeria. And I believe as we create the smart city, it will also create smart human beings. So what they are doing is the right thing to do. Government alone cannot develop this country. There must be a synergy between the private sector and the public sector.
This historic event is expected to usher in a new dawn of robust economic development in Nigeria and Africa. This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Stay tuned for more reports in just a moment.
You educate a girl child, by extension, you are educating the world.
If that man was actually given 10, 15 years, I don't think he will be coming back again to come rape the same child again.
If you choose a criminal as your role model, there is every possibility that you will find yourself in jail.
30 Minutes is a current affairs program that offers our viewers in-depth analyses on national and international issues through expository interviews and investigative reportage. Watch 30 Minutes on NTA News 24, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. with repeat episodes Fridays and Saturdays, 6:30 a.m.
Welcome to 30 Minutes on NTA News 24. The clock is ticking.
Glad to have you back. The federal government has laid the template for ensuring that the principles of accountability, equity, integrity, and transparency are observed in the practice of plea bargaining offenses in Nigeria. To this effect, the plea bargaining guidelines for federal prosecutors that will enhance standard practice is now in force. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
In the last 2 years,
legal minds got cracking in putting together the guidelines for evolving international best practice in plea bargaining in the country's criminal justice system. Plea bargaining is envisaged and provided for under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. The unveiling of the plea bargaining guidelines for federal prosecutors 2023 is a remarkable progression in the country's quest to reform the criminal justice sector. For the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, the evolution of the guidelines for plea bargaining for the Federal Prosecutor 2023 is a significant milestone in Nigeria's pursuit of justice. The Justice Minister canvasses the need for states within the Federation to adopt the provisions of the plea bargaining guidelines to ensure quick dispensation of justice.
This has necessitated the need for standard guidelines for the implementation of plea bargaining provisions contained in our laws. The objective of these guidelines is to, inter alia, among other instances, guide the prosecution and the defense in reaching a plea bargain agreement that is, quote, in the interest of justice, public interest, public policy, and the need to prevent abuse of legal process.
With these guidelines, the outcome of any plea bargaining offenses is predictable, save the time of the prosecutors and that of the court.
Quality of a nation's criminal justice system is a reflection of the measures put in place to ensure speedy and efficient judicial outcomes that stem the tide of reactionary forces.
But it's interesting to note that 95% of the criminal cases in the United States are actually plea bargained. So there's really nothing wrong with plea bargaining.
Going by Section 479, subsection 1 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, the concept of plea bargaining is an important component of the administration of criminal justice system with several benefits. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, while playing host to members of the International Press Institute, says the strategic role played by the media in Nigeria's democratic journey, particularly towards the victory of the current administration, will not go unnoticed. Salih Gwanara reports on the minister's engagement.
As a media entrepreneur and member of many professional bodies in the industry, the list of visitors from the constituency of the Minister of Information and National Orientation is rising daily. Members of the International Press Institute are here to show support to what they described as a rebirth of a deliberate and fruitful relationship between the government and the media.
We hope that this time Nigerian ranking in the Committee of Nations regarding press freedom, independent journalism, safety of journalists will be far higher than it has ever been.
I can assure you that we will not consciously trample on press freedom in this country. We will not. The president is a Democrat and he believes in the principle of freedom of the press. And he has told me times without number that the press need not to be guarded. The press need not to be controlled. But in turn, he is also asking that even when you have that freedom, you must exercise it responsibly.
In a similar engagement with the country representatives of UNESCO, the minister solicited for more support to reciprocate Nigeria's commitment to the global organization.
We know that now you are focusing on Nigeria, but we also want to serve as that hub in terms of media training because we have experts here and we have the population, we have the set skills to develop that, not only for Nigeria, but for the region. NTA is there, the FRCN is there.
And we are committed really to implement it with your support and for you, and we will be the UNESCO you want.
The minister assured that the government of renewed hope has developed a structure for more beneficial diplomatic ties. In Abuja, Salih Gwanara, NTA News.
Away from politics, federal government spends 375.8 billion naira on electricity subsidy between January and September 2023, as power consumers pay 782.6 billion naira for the commodity during the same period. Let's now join Vivian Izadefe for more on business news.
The latest power subsidy figures obtained in Abuja from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, an agency of the federal government, shows that government subsidized electricity in the first, second and third quarters of 2023. It was also gathered that power distribution companies billed electricity users a total of 1.06 trillion naira nationwide during the 9-month period, but collected 782.6 billion naira despite the blackouts in many parts of Nigeria. On subsidy payments, it was observed that in the first quarter of this year, the federal government subsidized power by 36 billion naira. This increased to 135.2 billion naira in the second quarter and jumped to 204.6 billion naira in the third quarter. Providing reasons for the subsidy in its just released third quarter of 2023 report, the NEC said it was due to the absence of cost-reflective tariffs. In another development, the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy has revealed it will adopt the proposal of the African Center for Asia plus Bangladesh Studies to achieve economic diversification, create jobs, environmental sustainability and inclusive growth, with the overall set goal of a sustainable and thriving marine and blue economy. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry disclosed this when a delegation from the African Center for Asia plus Bangladesh Studies, led by its chairman, visited the ministry. The Permanent Secretary, however, hinted that the ministry is willing to collaborate with the center. Let's take a look at trading on the floor of the exchange. With business, Vivian Izadefe.
Many thanks, Vivian. And moving on, a capacity building training for 120,000 frontline health workers is set to commence across the country. It is a federal government initiative to achieve the renewed health agenda on delivery of quality health care to all citizens. Oluseyi Adeabo reports that Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, made this known while speaking at the fourth quarter 2023 review meeting of the National Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Health Care Delivery in Abuja.
Telling the success story of the country and how it attained a wide polio-free status among other health achievements, especially in the days of curtailing the spread of COVID-19, cannot be completed without mentioning the efforts of these custodians of the nation's culture. Now, these leaders are already keen into the agenda of the new government, with the Sultan of Sokoto, patron of the group.
That shows our commitment, our resolve to work together so that we achieve the target we want set for ourselves to help our people.
For the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, the targets of meeting the health needs of all Nigerians, especially the most marginalized communities, through strengthening of primary health care system and scaling up financing using innovation are already set, but all key actors must be part of it.
We're seeing improvement in the diphtheria outbreak that is currently prevailing. We're seeing progress in many facets, and we are going to double up in that effort as part of the renewal agenda for health to ensure that the population health outcomes in Nigeria get better and that we engage and respond to what our citizens are asking for.
We are starting to identify and train 120,000 frontline health workers that are actually working in the front lines. We're going to be working through the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund to find ways to retain them.
The meeting of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on primary health care delivery holds quarterly and being the last for the year. This meeting reviewed the year and discussed prospects for the year 2024. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We have more reports after the break.